I'm your host, DJ Angelfire. My co-host for today is Xalamander. We interviewed him a few weeks ago. If you haven't checked that podcast out, I strongly encourage you to stop this, go watch it, because he's a really cool guy, makes custom clothing. Today, our guest is Lord VZA. He is a SoundCloud rapper / producer who does a lot of various experimental genres. Lord VZA, would you like to introduce yourself and kind of give a rundown as to your hustle on SoundCloud?
All right, hello. I'm Lord VZA. I've been doing this for 10 years. Do you want the long story or the short story?
Oh, long story, my friend. Go long.
Long story? Okay, because it's a pretty wild. Okay, so in high school, I'm 24. In high school, so around the time I was 14, 10 years ago, I was in a lot of death metal, grindcore bands. I jumped between a bunch of them. If you guys know the really heavy shit culture, bands don't really stay together than like an EP, or they won't even end up recording anything.
Yeah,
So,
I know, like, vaguely.
Long story short, so long story short, on that side of things, I was in a band and our drummer left, and I ended up downloading FL Studio, and I got like a drum kit on there, and I was kind of just messing around, and we were recording the guitar tracks and the audio and vocals, whatever. And the band ended up breaking up, and about a year later, I was just fucking around on FL Studio, and I started making like instrumentals, like rap instrumentals, and I'd head over to the skate park and shit, and I'd show all my older guys, and they would start freestyling, and they all loved my beats. But whenever I started to freestyle, they would like freak the fuck out, like whoa. So that encouraged me to record my first project that I put out, I'd say like around the Raider Clan era, like 2012, 13.
Nice.
And I've been doing it since then. I started a record label in 2014.
Oh, wow.
And I just started a new collective with a bunch of guys from Russia and all over the world about like this time last year. I'm just in a experimental stage right now. I feel like I've found my sound, but I don't know. I still feel like I can add more to it.
Yeah, for sure. So you would say like that kind of grime sort of shaped like your like beat making and your kind of flow, and that's like sort of why it's so different?
Well, yeah, I try to incorporate all the, I don't know, if you go through my track list, you'll see that a lot of my song titles are like really far out there, like kind of don't even really make sense. But a lot of the times it comes from inspiration from grindcore bands, or I'll be sitting there watching an anime and somebody will say something, and I pull a lot of stuff from the things that I like, and I just try to incorporate it all into my rap. And I don't necessarily use like trap beats. I don't use like 808s or whatever. I use tread. A lot of my homies from Russia, they do this style of beat where it's like really progressive, really fast paced, heavy bass. I started working with them at least about like a year and a half ago, and I've just been nonstop putting out tread music. So
yeah, I saw
that's kind of my angle right now.
You have tread hashtagged on a lot of your songs.
Yeah.
Hey, so what type of genre is that? You said it's called tread?
So it's kind of like an obscure subgenre. You guys have heard of Working on Dying, right?
Yeah.
Like the production team? All right, so you know the rapper Black Cray?
Okay.
So his girlfriend was in the studio with Working on Dying, and they loaded up this super fast beat, and she was like, damn, this is so fast, it sounds like music you would listen to on a treadmill. And then it kind of that's how it originated and came to be.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and then Working on Dying, they're from Philadelphia, so they started getting like mad placements with Lil Uzi, other big name artists, because obviously Uzi's from Philadelphia. So they started toning it down and making more like accessible. They started making more accessible instrumentals because obviously, if you've listened to my stuff, you know it can be kind of overwhelming. So, yeah.
I mean, it's
so
like an
a bunch
experience.
yeah. So a bunch of guys from Russia. It mainly started in Russia. Like I have friends from Florida and LA that do it too, but the first couple people that I seen making tread beats that weren't from Working on Dying were all Russian. They love it out there. It's crazy. A lot of my fans are from Russia.
I feel like that goes a lot with like the whole gabber and electronic music scene in Russia and also Eastern Europe. It's very strong, especially like the association with, you know, the gangster element, that kind of stuff in Eastern Europe.
Exactly. And the thing is it's like over here they like more electronic, like super rave music, and they like super heavy trap shit, like Scarlord type people, you know what I mean, dudes that are like doing metal vocals. And if you can incorporate the electronic with the heavy, they're fucking, they love it, man. It's crazy.
That's really cool.
Yeah, when you said you were in a metal band, I wasn't surprised because you definitely have the vocals, like especially on your stuff, you incorporate that a lot. It's done very well.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Honestly, I didn't want to become the quote unquote scream rapper because it's more of, it happened the first time I ever did it. It was by a complete accident. Like all my homies from my hometown, they all know that I can scream like a motherfucker. To do vocal covers on YouTube, yo. I would play the song in the background with my amp and, and scream and record. I had one of those channels. But I mean, one of my friends was like, bro, just find a hard beat and just scream the lyrics, just do it. And one day I wrote a song down. It was just a regular song, and I was getting ready to record. I rapped it out loud without the headphones on, but once I put the headphones on and I heard the bass kick, for some reason I ended up just screaming. And I thought it was fucking sick as hell. That exact same day, I actually recorded a whole entire EP. It's still on my SoundCloud, I think. It's called Serial Experiments VZA.
Oh yeah, Serial Experiments.
And that was my Yeah, exactly. Honestly, a funny thing about that is that show confused me so much, and I was so frustrated trying to figure out how I just watched that I just made that album out of pure frustration.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Oh, bro, definitely watch it sober. That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
What's like the premise as easily as you can explain it? Because I've heard of it. I see my friends posting it a lot, but I've never actually watched it myself.
Oh man. To me, I've honestly watched the series 3 times now, front to back, twice in one sitting. Honestly, I feel like it's like I don't even know how to put it to words. Every single time I explain it, it always comes out differently. But it's almost like Lane herself is, I'd say, like the internet or something to do with her actual presence on Earth, her social media presence. Like she doesn't have a real, she's not a real person, just what she wants people to think she is, kind of thing. And I don't know, like The Wire, just I don't know. It's too much to ask.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. You have like it's like very imagery heavy kind of music. Like even the titles themselves are very like descriptive, and like if you just like close your eyes and listen to it, it's like really like painting a picture. Like every second, every word is a very, like I feel like there's like no word that you don't, like no word is used like carelessly. Like it feels very like strategic, and like it's kind of painting this kind of chaotic image. And I really like that.
And thank you. Well, in particular, like when I'm working with the tread beats, the really fast stuff, it's more of like I don't write to music. So I'll be on the bus and I'll write like 3 songs in one bus ride, and then like 2 weeks later someone will email me a beat and I'll like puzzle piece the verse and the hooks together on the beat if it sounds right. And a lot of the time I mainly only do that with the tread stuff, just because it's so fast.
Yeah,
you can't really rap too fast, and you can't really rap too slow, so it has to be kind of at the exact tempo that the beat's at. and a lot of them are like at 200 BPM, 190 BPM. So it leaves room for a lot of experimental vocals. So it really all depends. Like right now, I'm sitting on 70 songs I've written in the last week.
Wow. Jeez.
Man, I have over 800 songs online. Like I have 3 SoundClouds. I have stuff on DatPiff that I don't really want the world to know about. That should explain enough. I have a discography on DatPiff. That's how long I've been doing this for.
I don't even know what that is.
DatPiff, like when Mac Miller was popping, Kush and Orange Juice, Wiz Khalifa.
Okay. Okay, so like the OGs, yeah.
Like, to put it in perspective, I recorded my first song like 2 days after Tyler the Creator dropped Yonkers.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I put out like this year alone, I've put out 8 projects.
Was that first album inspired at all by Tyler the Creator?
Oh no. My first album, I can straight up say that my whole first project was inspired by Raider Clan.
Okay.
You obviously know Raider Clan. Everybody knows what's called Raider. Yeah, so the whole guys like Chris Travis, Xavier Wolf, Bones. Well, Bones wasn't in Raider Clan, but fucking Grand Millie, all those guys.
All those guys in that scene, yeah.
Yeah, like the funk beats, like the shit that Suicide Boys got popular off of. Yeah, so that was my original sound. That's what I did at the beginning, because to me, as someone who was into metal and shit, like that was the heaviest you could get with rap at the time. Like nothing was heavier than that. You couldn't find like a fucking, what's a good example? You couldn't find like a Chase the Money type beat or like a Promethazine type beat.
Yeah.
You couldn't even type in type beat on YouTube and find. You would literally have to know the producer.
I feel like that has changed. Just like navigating sounds so much now.
Yeah, like you could literally hop on YouTube and be like, damn, I want to make a banger today. Type in fucking Smoke Perp type beat, and there's 30,000 different things you could, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like,
now you can find like a Smoke beat or like Smoke Perp times Drake type beat.
Exactly,
and it's like you can tell exactly what they were going for.
Yeah, and it's like I've been doing it for so long to the point where even back as far back as 4 or 5 years ago, I got bored. I was literally bored. I was like, I want to start a band again. This rap shit isn't doing too much for me. And I ended up dropping these like really, you guys probably haven't heard them, but they're on my SoundCloud. It's a trilogy called The Lord is Dead Chapter 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And there was one more called Cannibal Corpse, which was a separate EP, and it's all like 50-second lo-fi rap songs. What I was trying to do was I was trying to pack as many punchlines, metaphors, bars, even a hook if I could, into a 40-second song to challenge myself. You know what I mean? Like I was so bored. I was like, I have to make this more interesting.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
And then
I like that. That's cool.
And then one day I was on my way to work, and I was still in the mindset like, damn, I want to start a band. This is fucking whack. And I came up with a band name called Spooky the Kid and the Oreo Speed Bikes. I don't remember why. Yeah. I honestly have no idea where that came from, but it stuck with me like crazy. And then after I started working on my first Tread project with all my guys from Russia, I was watching this anime called Haibane Renmei, and that roughly translates to New Angel in Japanese.
Okay.
So I wanted to like take a new take on my music. The Oreo Speed Bikes aspect is kind of like my production team because they're fast as fuck. It stuck with me, and I couldn't like part with it. And
yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, it sounds sick.
Thank you. And then I put that album out literally a day before New Year's. So the day before New Year's 2018, and last month I dropped part 2 to that album with 24 songs, and I was working on that for the entire year pretty much.
Okay, wow. Yeah.
And then I just put out another album like not even 2 weeks ago, 8 days ago, called Telekinetic Techno Surgeons with some guy from Russia. Yeah. His name's Hiro Matsui.
So is a lot of your I'm trying to remember. I think it was a Ghostman interview. I could be mistaken, but he was saying a lot of his fan base comes from Russia.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
Well, yeah, it's like Europe loves screaming shit. That's just a given. But Russia, for some unexplainable reason, you could go to like Team like Bones, right? You
Yeah.
could go onto his YouTube and you can go through his comments on all of his songs. But the ones where he's screaming in the song, 90% of the comments are fucking in Russian. Like, I have no idea why. Honestly, I really don't. I have numerous friends from Russia that I talk to, but I don't really think they could explain.
I think they vaguely
They're
kind of touched on it in the Ghostman interview I watched, and they were kind of saying how like the weather there is like it's like overcast a lot. It's very dreary and cold,
Mm.
and how there's just like a lot of angst and not a lot of like energetic outlets for people, and so like angsty, angry sounding or like just screaming
Yeah.
kind of music is like it could be like therapeutic.
Of course, that's how I look at it.
Yeah. And is it also kind of therapeutic to like record it to like to get that out?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why I do it. Like, that's why I never wanted to be labeled as a screaming artist. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's more so one of those things where if I'm playing a show, I'm 150% starting it off screaming my fucking face off, and then I'll play a chill song like later on in the set. Like, I love energy. I don't really have any footage of my live performances because if I'm on stage, I immediately jump off of the stage and start a mosh pit. Like
Nice.
I'm actually banned from quite a few venues in
Really?
Toronto just because of how crazy I go. Yeah. I have a buddy.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I'm also in a duo, a rap duo called VZA versus Ace Prono. It's like one of my best friends from my hometown in Toronto.
Mhm.
We were thinking of a duo name just because the name is kind of funny. Every time we did a song together, we would try to one up each other's verse. What ended up happening was it's verses, so it's like
I get it.
VZA versus Ace Prono because we're trying to have better verses, and that inevitably just makes the song fucking 10 times better than would have been if we weren't trying to battle each other. And to get even deeper into it, it's like our first official release was called Practice Mode, and we have another release called Round 1, and then we released Practice Mode 2, and now we're working on round 2. We have our own Instagram and our own SoundCloud.
Nice.
But for the most part, me and him, he's like a guy that I always play shows with in Toronto. Before I came back to Europe, I played 9 shows in Toronto in 5 months.
So you grew up originally in Canada and moved to Europe?
So I grew up in Canada. I was born, stayed there until I was 21, and then 22, and then I came to Copenhagen, Denmark. Copenhagen was my first European country
What made
that
you
I have
move?
ever been to. My girlfriend.
I see. Nice.
Yeah. But it's also a really, really beautiful place. She wanted to come and move to Toronto, but I was like, ah.
Yeah.
You're not trying to go back, or
Well, I'm in the process of getting dual citizenship and all that, so
okay.
maybe to visit my mom.
Yeah. So you have like a lot of influence from like outside of the immediate kind of rap community. Do you have any influence from like the kind of like current generation of rap now?
Not at all, man. Honestly, other than my contemporaries, like my guys that I make music with, honestly, I'll listen to like a song here and there. I listen to Playboy Cardi sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't like sit there and I'm like, damn, I wish I made that song. You know what I mean? Like I'm never in like that state of mind where like I want to make something like that. Like nobody's doing anything that I would want to do, kind of thing.
And I can definitely like kind of
put it to
relate
words.
to that like with my clothes is because like I feel like if you've kind of found yourself enough that you know your style, Like you can still appreciate someone else's style and like see like I would say like clothing wise you could understand their aesthetic, but there's like there's like sound aesthetics, and you can as a musician you can notice that because you have a much more trained ear than the average person. But yeah, I think that's cool, and it's really good that you found yourself enough that you're not kind of like still looking for an identity or a shtick or something, because like
oh yeah, of course,
that's really big now, and I really can't stand it. It's like you gotta have a shtick.
Man. Yo, for I think 3 years I had this like sub persona type shit going on where I would just make a song about Dracula, bro. I have so many songs that have to do with Dracula that I honestly don't even know. I have Dracula, Alucard, Dr. Acula, Long Road to Transylvania, the fucking Bloody Mary. Yeah, I could list them off for days. Any type of rendition of the word Dracula you could think of, I have a song called it.
I really like Dr. Acula because it's like it's the spelling and then you kind of chopped it up. That's really cool.
Yeah. Thanks. But this dude from London totally bit my whole entire shit, and at first I was like, wow, I inspired this dude. That's sick as fuck. I'm not even gonna name drop, but the dude went and got Dracula tattooed on his forehead. So I was like, okay, let's go to select a character again. And
yeah,
I don't know. I was like, what rapper has the persona of a fucking cyborg or a robot? Some futuristic shit. And this is like 2 or 3 years ago. I was like, no one was doing this. This is before I even found the tread beats. And I was like, I really wanted to try and use sci-fi references and fucking rap about spaceships. You know what I mean? Just I like to be outlandish with my shit. Like for a long time, I would just reference anime or some pop culture, something that is like super you have to know kind of thing. But I felt like if I were to try and do something more approachable, like just sci-fi in general, that it would be a lot more easier for people to try and get into.
Yeah, sure.
And now you can go onto Instagram and fucking everyone's on some futuristic shit. All the stylists, everybody's trying to look like they're inside of a spaceship. Like so it's like
Are you familiar with the group Bomb Funk MCs?
It sounds familiar.
So this is going way back. I believe they had a song back in the late 90s, 1999, called Freestyler.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? Bro, they're from Finland. They're from Finland. I was just in Finland. No, that's actually hilarious that you said that, because I heard that song for the first time when I was in a car in Finland, and they were like, "You've never heard this song before?" I was like, "No, but this is sick as fuck."
It is. I love like just that 90s production of like how they cut up the drum and bass, but then they got like the DJ scratches and all that. Like I wish I could make beats like that.
Well, what I use honestly when I'm making my drum and bass, I kind of just I'll get a sample and then I'll line up the tempo so that it's like on bar, like from 1 bar to bar 4, and then I'll kind of find like in the loop pack that I have of drum and bass samples, it's like right beside the name of whatever sample it is, it'll say what BPM it is, so I can look back at the melody, the tempo of the melody, and then just kind of drag it right in. And then after I set up, like I line up the whole entire song, then I'll go in again and I'll like reverse snares and add triplets to the drums. You know what I mean? Just
go crazy.
Pick around at things.
How do you feel about like going off the grid in terms of drum programming? Because that's been something like some of this like UK drill I hear. Like they do some crazy stuff with the hi-hats.
Well, again, like even my tread guys, my Russian dudes, I don't even know how to explain it, man. Like I feel like tread is so new, and it isn't even like a solidified subgenre. Like there's people that make boom bap tread. I have guys that make like tread that Madonna could fucking sing on. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many different variations of it, and I feel the day that a Drake or a Young Thug gets on a tread beat, everybody is gonna be on tread.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
and it's like I can't explain it. I can't really put it to words, but like if you go to in my Instagram description, I have it says at Tread All Stars. That's like a little collective of a bunch of my friends from all around the world that do tread. Yeah, you're in LA, right?
Southern California. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I even got this rapper named Abnormal Area who's out in LA, and he does all the tread stuff too, and it's slowly becoming really the face of the new underground wave.
Yeah, it sounds really like that kind of stuff that I hear like Bomb Funk MC doing, but in kind of like a modern context.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What do you think about like how now almost being a rapper or just like the whole blow up of SoundCloud rappers has like now become a kind of almost like a reality TV show that kind of plays on social media. What do you think about that? Do you think it's taken away from the music, or do you think it's adding to it, or do you think it's kind of creating a...
Well, here's my take on it, because like example would be I just went to go buy a fitted hat the other day, and when I was in the store, the dude literally just straight up asked me, "So are you some SoundCloud rappers?" And I wasn't even like trying. I was just wearing a North Face Nuptse jacket and a pair of track pants. Like I wasn't.
Yeah.
It's like you have to kind of almost be a fucking superhero. You have to have your own attributes. You have to have your weaknesses. You have to like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to have like a whole stat list. And you can't just have bars. You could be the most talented metaphorical lyricist rapper on the entire earth, but nobody cares if you don't look like that. You know what I mean? It is kind of stupid and lame and stuff, but like if you think about it, like if you're gonna really boil it down, like deathcore, how many fans does fucking, you guys might not know who I'm talking about or anything, but like a band like Emure, where everybody in the band is just kind of like a middle-aged bald white dude with a beard that's kind of chubby, compared to a band like Asking Alexandria, where every single one of the guys looks like they're from Dior. It's like they blew up way more than Emure did, but Emure made better music. You know what I mean? It's kind of now jumped into the rap scene. It's like you have to be like a hardcore scene kid in order to blow up in rap, but the scene isn't like straight bangs anymore. Now it's fucking neon green dreadlocks and a face pad like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of what happened with Matty Ox. We were talking about this, me and Kwaku, in an earlier episode with Brandon and 990X. Matty Ox was this rapper. He released this like novelty fidget spinner rap, and like within a few years, suddenly he's got this whole persona like you're talking about. He mumbles when he speaks. It's so weird. Like,
yeah. You want to know what's funny? Matt Ox is a part of Working on Dying. He's one of the originators. He's one of the first people who started to make tread popular.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I knew he was in Working on Dying, but that's really cool.
Yeah, like some little kid on some of the heaviest fucking beats that I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, and he's like actually talented. Like when I first heard him, a lot of people were like, "Oh, he's just gonna fall on the wayside because he was just cool for a second." But like he's actually talented. He just happens to be a kid.
Yeah.
He's only 14. That's weird.
Yeah, and he walked. Speaking of, you spoke of Dior earlier. He walked in a Dior. I think it was Dior.
Yoji Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Yoji Yamamoto.
It was him.
Yeah.
I just bought a pair of his shoes.
Yeah, that was
amazing.
Oh man, I fucking love Yoji.
He's incredible.
Yeah, man. To get on like a fashion note type of thing, I've been honestly like your stuff. The what's it called again? I don't remember.
Xalamander?
The Dino. No, not your name.
Oh.
The Dino messenger bag you made.
Yeah.
I seen that on my desk like the search bar thing. I don't know what you call it.
Like the explore page.
Yeah, I was in Style, and I actually seen your bag like 2 weeks ago. That was when I initially reached out to you, and I was just like, bro, yeah, I thought that shit was sick as fuck. Like I've been making one pieces for like years, just from my like roots of being a fucking metalhead DIY guy. I've never released anything, but like I have
But you got
so
them.
much shit. Yeah, I got them all still.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Man, so I love the whole independent designer whole idea of it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I think it's really gonna blow up in the next probably year or two.
Yeah, man, fucking rapping's gonna be boring soon. Everyone's gonna be making fucking clothes.
Nowadays, it's not just that you're into music now. It's like design, like graphic design, like fashion. I feel like all this stuff is increasingly related.
Oh yeah, I
Oh
really
yeah,
think like in
definitely.
probably like 10 years, music and art, it'll just be like
One
music
thing.
videos on steroids, just like an extreme version of like escapism, sort of. Might even blend with like video games in a way.
Exactly. Like even with my cover arts and stuff, I've gone so far left field with it that I don't even want to use real photos anymore. I can just get someone to make a 3D animated version of myself, and then I
Yeah,
can use
it's
that.
incredible. I love all of your art and all of your visuals. It's really cool.
Yeah, man, I gotta shout out my artists real quick.
Cool. Okay.
So my 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 friend Ziska, ZiskASECURIS. She made my like display picture, like the thing that looks kind of like a teddy bear with wires coming out of its mouth.
Yeah.
I love that.
The girl that made the cover for Hibernate Renmei 2, Tissue Hunter.
Is this
It's
the
Tissue underscore
spider,
Hunter.
the spider girl sort of thing?
Yeah, the centipede rollerblade looking Halo. Oh yeah, the thing that I love about working with 3D animators like that is though it's like I can just send them the music and I can be like, yo, however this makes you feel, just do it. At the end of the day, it's art, you know what I mean? I made my art, they made their art, put it together. That's the artist art you can make.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And then telekinetic technosurgeons, that was a complete accident. I was actually going to drop it on Christmas to kind of like contrast everything. And I asked a guy who makes fucking album covers for like grindcore bands in Mexico. He barely even speaks English. And I was like, bro, I'm making a rap album about surgeries. Can you make me an album cover? And then he just sent me back the cover in like 2 days. He didn't even ask me to pay for it. He literally just made it, and I was like, "This is incredible! Like, what do you want?" He's like, "Just repost it." I was like,
Damn.
"What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's awesome. I found Tissue Hunter. It's really
Yeah,
cool
she's
stuff.
crazy, man.
Speaking on the whole fashion thing, I know that you also follow Soul Dog, and they make some excellent apparel.
I fucking love Soul Dog. Shout out to Soul Dog. I got a shit ton of hair clips from them, and I just ordered. I don't know what the name of the hoodie is, but I just ordered a sweater from them too.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, I've been following them since they started up.
Oh.
Wow.
And on another note, in fashion, have either of you heard of Saido Kinnan from South Korea?
I have not. No.
Oh my god, bruh, go check that right now.
How do you spell that?
CYTOKININ.
Yeah, I love like Korean fashion. I love Japanese fashion.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was more into fashion than I was into music for a long time, and then I kind of just gave up. Because I don't know. I just had like a really shitty obsession with ordering. Because I resold. I was a reseller for a really long time, and I would only sell like shit like Supreme and Bape and blah blah blah. I got my first Christian Dior leather jacket, and I was like, I sold it and I paid rent for like a month, and I had fucking money for groceries for a month. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get really big pieces and sell them. And then eventually what happened was I grew too attached to like a lot of them, didn't sell them, and I ended up getting broke as shit. So yeah, I kind of just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna have my one or two main pieces that I love, and then I'm just gonna make everything else. They're an absolutely amazing brand. The lead designer, like the creator of the store itself, actually, we talk sometimes over Instagram, and he makes almost everything by himself, handmade.
That's incredible.
Definitely one of my favorite brands. It's more so because right now you can, if you own your own clothing company like how you do, you can actually send them your clothes and they'll sell it in their store. They just started doing that, I think, at the beginning of this year. And
that is so cool.
they have Soul Dog in there. They have Yard Sale 666, if you know who that is.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, they have that on the other side of the store, and then on the other side it's like strictly all handmade Saido Kinen pieces. But yeah, their pants are fucking amazing. I that's the only thing I really focus on making myself whenever I'm making my own clothes, is I kind of just, I'm obsessed with making pants. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just my thing.
Really cool. Who so there's like you've posted a couple times, it's like a sculpture, like maybe a 3D printed or something sculpture of like a spider sort of centaur girl.
Oh yeah, Kalne Ka, Vocaloid. To put that in English, it's like a fucking it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. In you know, like Miku, the girl with the blue hair,
Yeah.
the little animated girl. Okay, well, it's like hardcore K-pop, but you know the gorillas, how like North America has gorillas for their rock band. They have Miku.
That, like their figurehead that's like a character.
Yeah, and the one that you see all over my profile, it's called Kalne Ka, and it's like a heavy metal version of K-pop for the animated people. I don't know. I came across
so hard.
Man, honestly, I came across it. I think I was designing a logo for somebody, and I was looking for someone to commission something on DeviantArt like 3 years ago. And I seen a picture of it, and I was like, this is the dopest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't know why. I went and I bought like 3 models, and now I'm just obsessed with them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, I wanted to make like a capsule collection of merch with a bunch of them printed on hoodies and shit, but I've never ever gotten around to making merch in 10 years. I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've never dropped a single piece of merch.
You still got time.
Yeah, for sure.
Right now, we're gonna take a quick 10-minute break, and then when we come back, finish off the interview.
Cool.
Oreo speed bikes 2 in the high Bane run VZA.
Black eyes in the trench, feel like I'm about to rock. Rigor mortis on my wrist, Raph Simmons camouflage. We about to go to war. I be posted in the field. If you looking for your bitch, I use that as a human shield. Only sip it if it's sealed. If it's not a deal. Keep it real and keep it drill. Hit a standard and we peel. Black eyes in the trench, feel like I'm about to rock. Red dot, green shot, hit 'em with a buckshot. Yeah, block hot, bitch, I dropped a bomb on her. First I hit a stain and then ran off on her. Flashy so you see me like the sun coming. Shining so you see me like the sun coming. Nobody surviving when I lash out. Run up on a nigga, beat his ass down. Shawty dropping ass like a countdown. I'm downtown smoking on that uptown, yeah. Niggas look down cause a nigga up now. Niggas shut down, left them all shut down, yeah. Smoking out the pound, on the plug now. Nigga first place, you the runner up now. Black eyes in the trench, feel like I'm about to rock. Rigor mortis on my wrist, Raph Simmons camouflage. We about to go to war and I be posted in the field. If you looking for your bitch, I use that as a human shield. Only sip it if it's sealed. If it's not a deal. Keep it real and keep it trill. I hit a stain and then we peel. Black eyes in the trench, feel like I'm about to rock. Red dot, green shot, hit 'em with a buckshot. Block hot, bitch, I dropped a bomb on her. First I hit a stain and then ran off on her. Flashy so you see me like the sun coming. Shining so you see me like the sun coming.
VZA.
up. Hexadecimal instead of maleficent, booted up. All this drip on me, it is hidden, turn it off. Serving, moving weight like I'm an Olympian, shut it down. Bounce evaporate just like photosynthesis. I pull up in a naval like I'm from Neon Genesis, smoking blunts by myself cause everyone is my nemesis. I'm a dog, do you dirty, run up on your west weaponless, wired up. Hexadecimal instead of maleficent, booted up. All this drip on me, it is hidden, drive a hearse to your mama house, you feeling the dreadfulness, turn it off. Serving, moving weight like I'm an Olympian, shut it down. Bounce evaporate just like photosynthesis. Headphones on a nigga in the club, they think I'm Shaman King. Juggy for your real little bitch, I'm smoking everything. I'm feeling fancy today, I got my Chanel trainers on. Ain't me my house in my cup, no tell it what my brain is on. Pull up in the Gundam, switching lanes like it's a Lane-a-thon. I think that a nigga be Griffith cause I did nothing wrong. Shining like Rihanna, diamonds, nitro, sniper, pipe is long. Gosha Rashinsky all up on me like it's a flexathon. Undercover Yamamoto, stunting what I'm dressing on. Pull up to the function with submit, I told her carry on. Pouring the aroma, what I'm smoking on is very strong. You don't want no smoke, my nigga, so make like a broken ball. Wired up, hexadecimal instead of maleficent, booted up. All this drip on me, it is hidden. Draw the top, grip the mop, drop his ass across the block. Bitch, don't talk, you get fans, circle the block, you getting mopped. Wired up, hexadecimal instead of maleficent, booted up. All this drip on me, it is hidden, turn it off. Serving, moving weight like I'm an Olympian. I pull up in a neighbor like I'm from Neon Genesis.
Speed Bikes 2 in the High Bay Runway. High Bay Runway in the Oreo Speed Bikes 2.
Gassed up, this a Kawasaki, hold this ain't a Chevy, wired up, booted up, you know me and my niggas ready, nitro sniper with the scope, and you know I hold it steady, told you once, so you niggas should already know already, over time, you a clock, big blade, melt the punches, sexy back, think a young nigga, motherfucker, just a European chopper, shout out all my niggas out at Russia, I ain't rocky, but a nigga be a pretty motherfucker, Yoshi pants, when a nigga hit the skeleton dance, Judgy spirals well, put your shotty into a trance, shine hard, man, these crams and they don't understand, got the blade in my hand, I'm the man with the plan, gassed up, this a Kawasaki, hold this ain't a Chevy, wired up, booted up, you know me and my niggas ready, not to sniper with the scope, and you know I hold it steady, told you once, so you niggas should already know already in the cut, fuck as fuck, we be ultra turn it up, what it is, what it was, motherfucker, what it does, gold slugs, no luck, sweep you underneath the rug, bad bitch, me mug, I think Shotty need a hug, pull up in an Ava suit, hop out in a gun, swore 9 lives, 8 shots, like a fucking shotgun, I feel like I'm Sean Paul, I be looking for the light, I be shining so hard, all these niggas wanna fight, gassed up, this a Kawasaki, hold this ain't a Chevy, wired up, booted up, you know me and my niggas ready, not just sniper with a scope, and you know I hold the city told you once, so you niggas should already know already, gassed up, this a Kawasaki, hold this ain't a Chevy, wired up, booted up, you know me and my niggas ready, nitro sniper with a scope, and you know I hold it steady, told you once, so you niggas should already know already.
Oreo Speed Bikes 2 in the High Bay Runway. High Bay Runway in the Oreo Speed Bikes 2.
Neon Genesis, my blunt, Gundam exude in my cup, a Ferrari on my fit, 2 Bugattis on my bitch, Kawasaki on my wrist, a Suzuki on the way, Yamaha holographic license plate, Subaru with a dash, mud my cup and mud my wheels, brought a Claymore in this bitch, something like a Navy SEAL, turbo racing does a drift like I'm out in Tokyo, I'm ferocious on my dick just to let these bitches know. Whoa.
VR goggles with the scope, took the caddies on the boat, holographic hollow code, dizzy camo, Wi-Fi uploaded the strap ho, all is the ammo, all my bitch and nano, dance, revolution, shorty is a flip flop, Neo Tokyo drifting, I do the dash at the bus stop, ready player one, I'm not a player, I just crush it off, double twin dragon lasers with the measurements, maker, undertaker with the extra star, attack on Titan, got a gang full of giants, feet 544, Starship Alliance, no compliance, no resistance is futile, so why run, hazmat suit, clean mix suit, mean, you USB cord, neon beam on my dots, cold jeans swarm on you. And a bunch of samurais in a Subaru. Record the different highs and upload it to YouTube. Sipping out the fucking straw, eating out the fucking tube. Life support is in this shoe. Sitting sideways, primal rage, hit 'em up like a raccoon. After burn a sonic boom. Death back in the panic room. Blast a sniper, hit 'em
Neon
with a
Genesis, my blood, guns and max suit in my cup. A Ferrari on my fit, 2 Bugattis on my bitch. Kawasaki on my wrist, a Suzuki on the way. Yeah, my hologram, holographic license plate. Yeah, yeah.
I'm here, Banger and May in the Orient Speed Bikes too.
Aleph in my fist, tiger fist like I'm bloody boy. Marble floor, you gon' need a mouth for all the bloody gore. White armor, you a clone, fingers like it's power stone. Photocopy, copycat, something like a shadow clone. Growing dumb, Tommy vest, air holes all inside the tech. Shadow with the tech, air holes all inside your neck. Hit the deck, hit the floor, something like a bloody roar. Marble floor, you gon' need a mouth for all the bloody gore. Subaru doing the dash, but my cup it, but my wheels. Brought a Claymore in his bitch, something like a Navy SEAL. Turbo racing, about to drift, like I'm out in Tokyo. I put Gosha on my dick, just to let these bitches know.
ハイバネ連盟が俺をスピードバイクに
Say I had an awesome sex with her Mitsui.
VZA.
Hold up, let me wire it up a bit. I don't give a fuck about the fuck you think you is. Nigga, know you can't kick it like a blast door. Nigga, make you backtrack like a checkpoint. Hold up, let me wire it up a bit. I don't give a fuck about the fuck you think you is. Nigga, know you can't kick it like a blast door. Hey, make you backtrack like a checkpoint. Dokisaka Hill Dash, knock a nigga lights out. Weight move like an avalanche, packet got me iced out. I be going 30, nigga finna wipe out. Brother on me right now, flights time to glide out. Super soaker soldier, where the nigga house up. Rats in the trap now, Mickey Mouse house club. Goofy ass bitch, nigga looking like a bitch. Nigga, I'm a walking lick, nigga looking like a brick. Nigga, hold up, let me wire it up a bit. Hey, I don't give a fuck about the fuck you think you is. Nigga, Prada on my fit and I drop Prada on my kicks. Hey, shining like a shooting star like lightning in this bitch. Hey, hold up, let me wire it up a bit. Hey, I don't give a fuck about the fuck you think you is. Nigga, know you can't kick it like a blast door. Yeah, make you backtrack like a checkpoint. Hey.
On the doctor.
You called me in from home to do an abdominal CAT scan that could wait until Monday morning. Well, guess what? It's not happening. Dr. Moyer. These are my machines! My machines! Whose machines? My machines! How is that helpful? They're my machines!
On the doctor.
Rings, Saturn pulling strings in Vivian Westwood. Alley-oop, swish ballin' like I'm Russell Westbrook. Bomb Squad C4, taking out the neighborhood. Prada pants, Gosha shirt, shining like I'm Hollywood. Gas mask on my face, toxicity on my belt. 26 in the stick, I'm Theodore Roosevelt. Street sweet, broomstick, got the cauldron in the broom. Off shrooms, give me 30 seconds to clear out the room. Mask up,
belt cut off. I woke up feeling like I'm glowing. Blood splatter on my ref, looking like it's red perfume. In the cut with the Glock, motherfucker, who is you? Millie Rock on your course on a sunny afternoon. Rings of Saturn, the strings and Vivian Westwood. LA switch, ballin' like I'm Russell Westbrook. Bomb squad, C4, taking out the neighborhood. Prada pants, Gosha shirt, shining like I'm Hollywood. Helmet leg, doctor coat, I'll be stunting on the kill. 99% doctor's mask, take a quiet pill. Good intentions, bad intentions, still get hit with the extension. Cyber optics, no forensics in my cup, looking demented. Turn the kid, facial fracture, now you won't be targeted. Sledgehammer facelift, now you won't be walkative. Fergalicious on my wrist, that be my prerogative. Hands up, mouth gag, killing all the hostages. Rings of Saturn, pulling strings in Vivian Westwood. Alley-oop, swish ballin' like I'm Russell Westbrook. Bomb squad, C4, take it out the neighborhood. Prada pants, Gosha shirt, shining like I'm Hollywood. Rings of Saturn, pulling strings in Vivian Westwood. Alley-oop, swish ballin' like I'm Russell Westbrook. Bomb squad, C4, taking out the neighborhood. Prada pants, Gosha shirt, shining like I'm Hollywood. Yeah. Masturbation later action, I'm walking through all the corpses. Phone looking mortal when I pull up to the fortress. Living rigor mortis, but my reflection is gorgeous. I'm removing portions when I'm taking out your organs. Poison in the punch celebration, regurgitation. She be captivated by all of the amputation. Leave you decimated like candle decapitation. Locked you in my basement, I'm feeding you radiation. This is gonna burn it in your body in a tourniquet. Skull needs a surrogate, the damage done is permanent. No resuscitation, there's no need to phone the ambulance. Ambience is fabulous, I'm basking in my last with a scalpel in my hand. The incisions I made miraculous. Didn't know that blood could be as shiny as an ambulance. I don't like a gentleman, my draw made skeletons. I ain't delegate booted off adrenaline medicine. Local anesthetic, blood thicker than a symbiote. Dr. VZA, I got the knife ready to diagnose. Thought that this was over, apology, I'm starting up. Hang you upside down from my ceiling to get the carbon up. If you try to jump me, I'll make sure you can't jump. Rick Owens on me, with my right wrist up. I'll be at your front door, nigga froze bitched up. You can live on Broadway, get your black lit up. Wrist on cast, nigga. Transparent with the pack, nigga. I still women on the country, nigga. There's a phantom in the garage, nigga. Zombie fiends pulling up, on the creep all night, nigga. Hiding body in the attic, nigga. White doors, one static, nigga.
VZA.
Stars.
I glow in Yamamoto, I shine a Watanabe. 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 Vintage helmet leg got me looking like the Da Vinci's code. Trick or treated, trap house haunted, you look like you seen a ghost. Radiated to the maximum, I'm toxic to the bones. Blast with pistol to my head like I was talking on the phone. Armored up like a Marine Corps artillery, great device. Angel wing
wings out of my back. I'm trapping out the afterlife. Put the pack onto the altar. Did you scale and sacrifice? They say freaks come out at night. I'm probably going out tonight. I glow in Yamamoto. I shine on Watanabe. 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 Yeah.
All right, welcome back to the World Movers Media Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Angelfire, my co-host Xalamander, with our guest lord VZA. What were you saying before we started?
Well, we were just talking about you wanted to have like a World Movers meetup with your co-host. And I was thinking I kind of want to do the same thing because back in around 2015, I started this record label called. It isn't a record label per se. It's more of a collective, but it's called Piss Drunk Records. Yeah. The reasoning behind it isn't because everyone on the label is an alcoholic. It's because skate culture. I had a friend who used to teach me how to skate when I was way young. His name was Alex Mink, and he passed away, but he always used to skate the Piss Drunk Dustin Dollin Baker board, and the logo on it, it's like a P, a backwards P, and a D right beside it, and that's always been like the logo kind of thing. So regardless, I have maybe 40 people signed to that, that they all just work together, and then I have my Tread All-Stars collective with people from literally all around the world, so it would be really cool if we could get all of them into one show kind of thing. That'd be fucking crazy.
Well, we've been thinking about like doing some kind of like event, and then like on top of that having some kind of streaming where like we could have other people, you know, connect through Discord and like stream their live set, do like visual stuff as well.
That'd be dope.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe one of these days.
Yeah, for sure. Like, maybe even if when I come out to San Diego, we could do an actual like live video.
That'd be awesome.
Interview. You from Xalamander?
Oh, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, that'd be really cool to have that kind of meetup.
Yeah.
I would definitely watch a live video feed of a podcast.
Yeah, I went to a show. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Frank JFC.
I'm not.
So he's been like the vaporwave scene for a long time, and also, you know, he made like these kind of somewhat like parody videos on like future funk and vaporwave.
Okay.
And so he's been kind of like a fixture in the vaporwave scene for a while. I got to see him live here recently, and I met this guy who's done like some design work. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this artist, Party Boy 69, and
I'm not. No.
This guy, Young Morpheus, he's made like a lot of different designs and stuff. So I think he would definitely dig your. Work.
I'll check him out. Party Boy.
So, yeah, he's not the artist, but he did some work for the artist. The artist is Party Boy 69.
I know who this is.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Okay, yeah, no, now, yeah, I just had to see the pictures. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember, yeah, because I was on he somehow, for some reason, the YouTube algorithm blessed me one day. Yeah. And one of his videos was right at the top of my feed, so I just watched it, and I was like, oh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the one where he had a horse.
The one I saw originally was the live ghetto house mix or whatever they did, where he had like a green screen.
Oh yeah, I see that right now. Yeah. On his Instagram.
And then This picture I just posted, that is the flyer that this dude I met, Young Morpheus, did.
Him.
Yeah, he makes some cool stuff.
Yeah, that's out there.
Shout out to Young Morpheus.
Yeah, that's cool.
Man. Pretty dope.
So to get back to your music and influences, for you, when you started making like beats, of course you mentioned metal, but like was there any like rap or electronic music that you listened to in the beginning that like inspired you? Because I mean, obviously you've listened to like drum and bass and all that stuff. Were there any particular artists that stood out to you?
Well, when I first started production, it was more of a... Honestly, I started off with a boom bap sound, like a traditional hip hop. If you really think, my name is VZA, and it's derived from RZA from Wu-Tang, the producer from Wu-Tang, the guy that made the beat.
Yeah,
so,
that kind of rings a bell, like when I hear it.
Yeah, RZA and Smoke DZA from New York for his lyricism, and those were my two favorite artists in rap when I first started making rap music. So I kind of... And the whole Raider Clan hieroglyph, you would spell shit instead of like an A would be a V. And it looked like visually pleasing to have the A and the V. So I obviously like RZA stands for Razor, Jizza stands for Genius, and VZA, people ask me all the time what it actually stands for, and it stands for invisible. And but inspirations, like I wouldn't be able to put my finger down on one. I never really sat down and was like, I'm gonna make this type of song or that, you know what I mean? It was more of just my whole catalog would come out every time that I made anything. I can't even lie, like I didn't start off with the drum and bass in mind. It kind of it was more of a recent thing. I did Haibane Renmei and the Oreo Speed Bikes 1, and I kind of felt like I was burning myself out. And the only thing that has like the same BPM at all is drum and bass.
Yeah.
So actually, what truly inspired me to start messing around with drum and bass was this anime called Gaunt's, and the intro song was it's like it's in Japanese, but it's like this dude who's rapping some super smooth shit. He sounds like a Japanese version of Pharrell going ham over a drum and bass.
Have you seen Crybaby? The anime Crybaby? I can't remember the full name.
I've seen so many different animes, man, that I honestly can't even... Devilman Crybaby?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I really like the art style in that, and I haven't seen a ton of animes. I've probably seen like 4 or 5 series, but the art style in that is just like so crazy, and it sort of reminds me of some of the aesthetics you portray, and how like they don't stick to that very like the traditional anime style. It's very like elongated, and the bodies and monsters really shift in each frame. I just think that's really cool.
Just based off of the fact that you like that, I highly recommend... I don't know if that link is going to be good, but it's an anime called Fooly Cooly. It's by I'm pretty sure it's by the same studio that made Devilman Crybaby, but it's only like 4 episodes. It's one of my favorite animes. I know you would love it.
I got a lot of anime homework now after this.
Yeah.
Oh, bruh. Come on.
No, I'm here for it. That's awesome.
In all honesty, I probably pull, I'd say, 80% of all of my inspiration for music from anime.
With rappers in the last few years, it's almost like, I guess in some circles kind of a joke, but like, you know, anime stuff in rap, like for a while it was kind of a novelty or unexpected. Now, like, you know, it seems like a lot of people are doing it.
Yeah, and the thing is with it is it's like there's dudes that'll be like going way out of pocket and like referencing characters that are only in one episode, like a 400 episode, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And you really need to know your shit to understand it. But it's like if you do understand it, and you know what I mean, you do get it from that artist, you're like, holy shit, like this guy's really out here. Like, and that's kind of my whole perspective on it, because I've been doing it for so long and I've always used anime references. Like I started off with my little haha Naruto punchline here and there back in like 2015, and no one really got it, but now I'm like, yeah, I don't know. In the last like month, I've watched probably maybe 35 anime movies, because I don't have Wi-Fi at my crib yet, so I've just been downloading shit onto my flash drive and just plugging it in.
I think it's cool. Even like the reverse of the of understanding the references is like me liking your stuff and liking your aesthetic, and I'm a fan of you now, but like hearing that stuff and then like the reverse of referencing, now I want to go and watch that thing because you referenced it. I think that's really cool. Man.
That's fucking awesome.
Sweet.
Because like I always, obviously, just like how rap music, there's obviously fucking the top 5 most popular animes, just like there's like the top 5 most popular rappers, and obviously there's a lot better ones that are out there, but they don't have the same kind of notoriety as, say, like a Naruto or Amigos or Drake. And a lot of the underground ones are fucking incredible, and like I want people to know what they are. Like that's why I went and named songs Dot Hack Sign or fucking Serial Experiments VZA. Like I just want people to pay attention to them.
Yeah, for sure.
It's interesting how like when I was a kid, like anime was seen as like cool, and then when I got older, like maybe I was like 13, 14, anime got like clowned on pretty heavily, and now it's like come back around. Like I feel a lot of people think like anime used to not be cool, but like to me I feel like it used to be cool, but then it wasn't cool, but then it's kind of cool again. It's interesting how I've seen that like shift almost 3 times now.
Yeah,
of course. Like I've lived that. Like I'm not even trying to be like, oh, blah blah blah, but like I used to hang out with dudes in the trap and shit back in Toronto and Canada, blah blah blah, and my plugs, whatever the case, and they'd always clown me like, yeah, bro, what the fuck, you want to watch fucking Yu Yu Hakusho? And then like now you can go check their Instagram, like, yo, who wants to come over and smoke and watch Naruto? Like they're just on the entry level. They're like, yeah, I watch anime, and then you're like, what's your favorite anime? They're like, Dragon Ball Z. 2 years ago, they would have been like, what the fuck? I don't watch anime. That shit's blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the tired old joke. Oh yeah, my favorite anime is Cory in the House.
Yeah.
Yeah, like exactly. Like I remember I used to like hide my Naruto manga books when I was in grade school. Like I'd bring them to school and shit, and like get picked on, and then.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I was definitely like into manga, however you say it, and I would go to like Books a Million or Barnes and Noble, and I would just hang out in that aisle. I was like super ADD, so I would like pick up like 50. I would never read them, flip through, look at the pictures, and like take a picture on like my sidekick or whatever. And yeah, like I think it was a very closeted thing, and like looking back, I really regret not. Like I just really wouldn't delve into it because I just didn't want to, have that stigma of being an anime kid.
Even my girlfriend's like that. She's like, oh, I don't like anime because all they do is do close-ups of their face while they make weird breathing noises between conversations. And it's like, there's so many different types of anime, you know what I mean? Like there's sports animes, there's animes about cooking, there's animes about cats. Like, you know what I mean? You could find more different subgenres in anime than you could in like an actual real life show. So for someone to just blatantly say I don't like anime, that's like them saying like I don't like real people TV shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. I mean, weird. I feel like there are a lot of common tropes, and I guess that's kind of why I haven't watched a lot. But I do respect like maybe not so much, the tropes, but just like the overall like illustration, like the backgrounds, or like the proportions of characters, how they're able to do all that stuff and like really detailed stuff.
Yeah.
I remember like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I've said this before, but like when I was in grade school, and there was this girl I had a crush on, and she was big into Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I remember seeing them for the first time. I was like, man, that is like, those illustrations go crazy. I love that. I still have like a whole collection of them somewhere in my house.
Yeah, I still have.
Hold on to those.
I still have mine. I'm holding the box of them right now.
All of them are worth mad money. My buddy Honeyberry Drip, actually, he just found like an old box of Pokemon cards, and he had like a Mewtwo card worth like seven grand.
I recently found my Pokemon cards, and I have a Mewtwo card that they gave out at the movie premiere.
Oh shit, bro! Go on eBay and type in the exact number of that card.
It is, dude. It's worth like 700, but we
didn't really for a little bit longer.
We didn't really take care of our cards, so it's got little scuffs and stuff.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I know those ones. Man, you just reminded me back in grade school, I was on some hustling shit. I remember I used to print out pictures of like Obelisk the Tormentor and like glue it down over a fucking regular card, and then I'd go over it. I'd paint over it with my mom's clear nail polish so it looked like it was fucking, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, like, I remember in grade school, like, before I had a pack of my own, I would just go into the magazines and cut out, like, the little thumbnails of the cards and, like, use those. Like, who's gonna stop you, you know? I mean, like...
Yeah, before the fucking rule book came with the deck packs.
When actual cards started getting traded, that was the most intense thing at school was, oh, I gotta make sure I get this card, so I'll trade this card away. Maybe I kind of want that, but I'll trade it anyway for this better one.
Beyblade, and then that was like when, in my school at least, when I was in grade school around that time, that was when everyone started getting into like RuneScape and Battle-On and all that shit.
Do you remember Adventure Quest?
Oh fuck yeah!
Yeah, I had a
Adventure Quest. That was like Battle-On, right?
Yeah, it was Battle-On Games. They made all those stuff.
Yeah. I put so much money into of my mom's money in. Yo, I was a vampire lord, bro.
Well, I played the original Adventure Quest, and then I played Mech Quest. That I really love, like the designs of the mechs and stuff. I don't know if you ever played that.
I don't think I got into that one.
Let me post some pictures, because I feel you would definitely, like, with your style now.
Sounds like something that I would have, I should have been into. No, I had like Armored Core and a bunch of like really obscure. I feel like a lot of the reason why my love for like robot shit, it has something to do more like because I'd always try to find obscure one of one kind of things like my entire life, like. Not to sound like a hipster, but like when I was growing up, I never liked to have something that someone else had. So that even came down to like video games. Like I'd always try and get like the weird, super odd PS2 game that none of my friends on my street would have, so that I could pull up on them and be like, "Yo, check this out. This is weird as fuck."
Yeah,
and
I can relate.
Always
to that
been
totally.
like that.
I'd always get like the weirdest bands and stuff, and then I had a friend that like. He did everything I did. Like, I don't know if he looked up to me or what, but so like I ran cross country, then he started cross country, and then he did better than me. But he would always try to like do exactly what I do, and then he'd one up me. So he'd always get the same shoes as me, and he was like a little more like well off financially. So whatever I did, he could like do immediately and then better.
Yeah.
So I'd get these Vans, and like he would like get the exact same pair because we had a Van store in our mall. And so I started just like writing in Sharpie, like in this like weird font. I would write pork on all of my shoes, like on the side. I don't really remember why, but like he just wouldn't break that threshold. So it was like that one individual thing that I had.
The
on
checkmate.
It. Yeah.
Yeah, say a word. That's dope, man. That was like me when I was getting sick of like the whole designer thing. I was like. No one in my city, because I live in Toronto, but I live like I kind of just say Toronto because it's like the most immediate city, but I live 2 small cities beside, like away from it, so like an hour drive tops, and nobody knows anything about fashion shit all. Like people are still wearing JanSport bags and fucking Blue Notes t-shirts. It's terrifying. I don't know, I would just like go out and spend like fucking $3,000 on a fucking Vitamins jacket, and I'd pull up to my friend's house, and he'd be like, "What the fuck is that? That looks retarded." I'd be like,
Yeah,
what do you mean? Like, I just caught this off Grailed. They're like, what the fuck is Grailed?
What is Grailed?
So,
yeah,
what are Grailed? Yeah, no. So like, I would just like start ruining my shit on purpose. Like, I had a pair of dark shadow like drop crotches, and I just like sewed a bunch of wool patches all over them. And I know that sounds like the worst thing to anyone that makes
that sounds
clothes.
like something I would do.
Yeah, like I had my biggest regret in my entire life. I had the Mason Margiela H&M belt jacket. They collabed.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I don't remember what I did with it, but I cut the sleeves off of it and immediately regretted it, and I don't think I ever wore it after that. And then I think I just sold it.
You were able to sell it?
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah. I sold it for like half the price on Grailed. You can sell anything on Grailed, man.
Yeah. I feel like people, just to get like a shred of clout, will buy anything that like looks expensive.
Yeah, I had to stop myself because like I launched my store the night before last, and I got like a bunch of sales, and I was like, oh, I'm about to buy some rigs. I'm about to buy this.
Yeah, right? Fuck.
Yeah, but like I think I'm just gonna reinvest the money so then I can buy like nicer stuff.
Or even just reinvest it into your brand, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm
saying. Like I was talking to one of my buddies who's making one-of-one pieces, and we're gonna try and make a pair of shoes. We're calling them tread runners.
Okay.
For like all the homies in the tread thing. We had this crazy idea. There's like this Icelandic shoe company, and they make these crazy ass soles. And what we were gonna do is we're gonna buy a bunch of the soles from the manufacturer, and then we were gonna order a shit ton of like really odd looking shoes from AliExpress. Take the upper sole off, and then just go ham and go crazy and like make a whole shoe collection.
I love that. You should definitely do that.
Man, like there's so many ways around making your own clothes nowadays that it's crazy. Like
yeah, like that, I'm obsessed with that. Is like finding different venues, because like people like to stick to like sewing. It's like, oh, I learned sewing, I'm gonna go in all in sewing. But like I just want to know like every way that I can make stuff.
Exactly. Like I just got a rhinestone press. Like keep in mind, I don't have a clothing line. Like I started one called Please Don't Feed the Models back in like 2016, and it was supposed to be like a giant joke. Like all the clothes were gonna be one size fits all, and like just way the fuck out there. But I never ended up doing it, and I still have all the pieces, just like the sample pieces, but it's way too hard to juggle clothing and music.
Yeah, I feel that. Now I'm trying to like incorporate, because I started sculpture, so I'm like trying to eventually like incorporate kind of my sculptures into the clothes. But it's really tough to kind of manage the brand, and like it's hard like when you're making clothes all day every day, and I'm sure you can relate to making music, is like you kind of meld your own personality into the brand, and it kind of
like one of my favorite things you do is the horns, like the spikes, like that. I don't know what about it, but it fucking pops, and it works so good. Like that one leather jacket piece that you made, bro, that shit is literally fucking art, man.
Yeah.
I would rock the fuck out of that.
Are you guys, I know I sent this to Xalamander before, a little different than like you guys' style, but it's called Cloma Gear, and they make some like really cool, like sleek Y2K looking tech wear. I really love their stuff, but they're super expensive.
Yeah, I really do like tech wear.
It's just pricey as shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I really like that, 'cause it's kind of like the next step in evolution of sort of like the Rick Owens sort of era of like this drapey look, but then
I see the silhouette,
but it's like incorporating these new technologies and materials and just general aesthetics. I think it's really cool.
This looks like some shit that you'd be wearing like in the spaceship right before you go to the food hall.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
This shit nice.
Or it's like something you see like a rapper wearing in 1999 in a music video.
All right, it's so weird how it's bounced back. Like the tech wear from like the early 80s and like 90s, that shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll hit up a thrift store and like I'll pick up like a windbreaker with a hood attached to it, and it has so many different little compartments like around the neck, and just it's like, what the fuck was this guy thinking? Like,
dude, I bought this pair of pants a while back. They're cargo pants from the 90s, but they're different than like most like cargo pants you see, cause like the pockets are on the side, and they're like Velcro, and they're kind of annoying, but I like how it looks. I just posted a link in the chat.
Yeah. Those look exactly. I actually got a pair like this not too long ago. You remember the pants where you could like zip halfway, so you could turn them into like capris? And
yeah.
I bought a pair, and my whole idea with it was I was gonna take like they're black, and I was gonna in the mid, so the part where you would turn it from capris into shorts, I was gonna sew in denim, and then so it was gonna be like splash pant material upper, and then the mid would have been denim. Bottom would go back to that material.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
Should definitely do it.
I guess I got it.
Yeah, for sure. Execute.
So the only thing I really have left on the music thing is I just put out an album 8 days ago, and I'm already working on another one. I need to like mediate my output, because I can't stop putting out music. Yeah, but my thing is I put something out, and it's like, my people tell me it all the time, like, you have no time to promote anything. Like, and I dropped an album 8 days ago, just dropped a new single 3 days ago. So it's like people are now focusing on this new single that I dropped and have totally forgot the album that I dropped 8 days ago. And I'm already working on another project, and it's like I've never just dropped one project in 1 year and then just spend the whole year focusing on that one project.
Do you think that's like beneficial, or do you think it's something you should work on? Or?
Yeah, that's like my Achilles heel, because like I said, I literally have over 800 songs online. Like it's to the point where like I said, I got bored of it, and I'm just now getting back into the groove of things. But it's I literally did it to myself.
My sort of strive to always like make a new thing is because like I feel like I'm always learning something. So it's like that piece I made last week is like now inferior because I know this or that.
Right.
So it's just kind of one-upping yourself, I guess.
Like I even seen, because we were talking about like when I hit you up about that one jacket, I was like, bro, that'd be fucking insane if you did that with leather and shit. And then like a week later, I seen you drop something with the leather like accents and shit. I'm like, holy fuck, this guy actually snapped. Like, whoa.
Yeah, for sure.
You could always just pull a Kanye, promise people an album for a year, and then be like, hey, I'm not releasing, guys. I was just playing with you the whole time.
I can't even do that. Like I had Hibernate Renman, the Oreo Speed Bikes too. That album has 24 fucking songs on it.
I know.
And like I was working on it for a whole year, and it got to the point where like I finished the album, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not dropping it for like another 4 months, so I might as well just start making more music. And I replaced a bunch of songs. Like if I had 24, I'd take away 8, and then I'd put a new 8 in there. And it got to the point where I had so much good music just bundled up. I was like, I can't just hold on to this. Like, that'd be wrong.
Yeah.
When you were young, did you have like any formal training in music? Did you learn to play instruments?
I can play guitar, bass, drums, a little bit of piano, and the fucking saxophone. And I can scream.
Nice.
But I can't sing for shit. I cannot sing for shit at all.
Well, I mean, you have your rap. I mean, I think you can use that in, I guess, a rhythmic sense. Maybe not in a traditional like singing, but I think it works very well rhythmically. So.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not the most melodic or harmonious type of rapper, but I mean, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of the beauty of the scream rap kind of DIY approach to just like putting it out there. It's raw. I feel like if you went and did like an auto-tune Drake song, you'd like probably throw a lot of people off because that would be like the very thing they didn't get into you for. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I as a joke, maybe about last year, I recorded a song and I was rapping just casually, like monotone. And I just threw auto tune over my voice, and I was like, "Damn, what the fuck? This sounds way too crazy." Because I was just rapping, like I wasn't trying to hold a note or anything.
Yeah, sure.
And now, if you go and listen to my music, almost every one of my songs, there's a layer of auto tune on it. It's not like overpowering.
Sure.
You can still hear what I'm saying, and it's just my new way of doing it. And another thing is like I don't go to studios. Like I've been recording and mixing and mastering in house for the last 10 years.
That's awesome.
I can do everything someone in a studio could do on my girlfriend's makeup table. I'm good on that, but as of right now, I feel like I've never been more comfortable mixing vocals and like just mixing everything down. That's why I've been making so much music lately. It's just because someone will send me a hot beat. I don't write to beats, so I already have like 100 on my phone, and then boom, there's a song right there.
That's the interesting thing. You look at a lot of these pop stars, not to, like diminish, influence, but like they had a whole studio people working with them. And now, I see people like you, I see people like 990X, my friend Kenny Pahina, and they're just like doing this, and it's all of them, and I think, wow, that's really inspiring.
Yeah, man, it really is. And even to the shout out to the people that are doing all of that on top of making the own beat that they're rapping over. Like my whole thing with my collectives is my collectives are filled with producers, for the fact that we could just like the MCs in the collective can just kind of reach in, and we always have the same kind of sound, you know what I mean? We're all making the same kind of music. So it automatically sounds like it's coming from the same camp. But for the people that sit there, mix, master, and make the beat and write their own music, that's something I couldn't even fathom doing. Like even when I did make my own beats, I never used them. I've never sold my beats either.
Really?
None of mine are even online. Most of my beats are just sitting on a flash drive.
Really? Wow.
Dang.
Now I definitely want to hear them. That's the thing that I debate, because I have a lot of unreleased beats. But they're like unique enough to the point that I would hate to give them to a lyrical, spiritual, miracle rapper and just like cringe for the rest of my life. No, I gave them this. Well, I'm not gonna say it's an excellent beat, but just like, you're very selective.
Yeah. I know where you're coming from. I've been in scenarios where I had like a song that I genuinely thought was like, this is it. This is a fucking dope song, and I'll send it over to like one of my buddies to put a verse on, and then they send it back, and I'm like, well, fuck. Like, I'm not gonna say anything. That's how you felt today. You know what I mean? So I know exactly what you mean, but for me, it's more so I just make my own instrumentals because I always tell myself like if this music shit doesn't work out, I'm gonna just either become a light-skinned version of Anthony Fantano and review niggas' album, or I'm gonna become a fucking DJ. So it's gonna be one or the other. I would just use my beats on that, but I don't know.
I saw this interview Young Lean did, and he was talking about how he was in the studio. He's with Metro Boomin, James Ferraro, and a bunch of other talented people. And they like did something, they made like a beat, but they all like agree like it's shit, and so they never released it. I'm like, damn, if people like that who make music all the time and very successful still struggle with that, what does that say for the rest of us?
Well, I mean, you know what I mean? Making beats and stuff, it's repetitive. Like a lot of the times, one of my favorite things as an artist, especially that I mix and master everything, is I can have a studio session and just like in-house studio session, and I could record like maybe 7 songs in one night, and then I'll mix and master them simultaneously after I record them. I'll go to sleep, and then I'll wake up in the morning, and it's like I'm listening to a brand new song. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
I feel that.
If it doesn't hit me like right as soon as I hear it the first playthrough, then I know it's not even worth putting out. My last single, I honestly, it's called God is a Hitman. It was a joke, like the picture and all that. But that's actually supposed to go on the VZA versus Ace Prono album. Like he's supposed to have a verse on there and all that. but I recorded that song in the first batch of songs that are going to be on that album, and I woke up the next morning and and I heard it and I was like, nah, I got to drop this one. I gotta.
Yeah. I feel that.
You got to have timing. Like, you got to know when to drop certain things. A lot of the time it's about timing, and then half of the time it's about just like you got to do it.
Yeah. How have you dealt with like writer's block, like creativity block? How do you work through something like that?
That's a tough one, because with my output and whatever the case, a lot of the times my biggest drives that'll like set me to go like super ham on a project is if I don't make the cover art and somebody else makes me the cover art, like super fucking crazy. I'll like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, the music has to be like 10 times doper than the cover art to even like, you know what I mean? Or if I'm like literally having writer's block, I don't know. I kind of get inspiration from the most random shit. Like, I could be on the bus, or I could just be chilling watching TV, and someone could say something weird like, "What are you doing up at this ungodly hour?" And I'll fucking whip out my memo pad and write down, "What are you doing up at this ungodly hour?" And then maybe in like 10 minutes, I'll think of something else that rhymes with that, and then I'll just branch off, and then next thing I know, I have a whole song. Like, I never get writer's block like that. I'll watch an episode of Gundam Wing, will inspire me to fucking write a song. I don't think I've ever not been able to write music when I was in the mood to write music.
See, that's a talent, man.
Honestly, I've wanted to get into the ghostwriting business because it is kind of abnormally fucked up how I can just sit down and like pump out like 30 songs in one day. So I've always wondered like how to get my foot in the door to be like, hey, I can write a hit for literally any artist. Just give me their name and the premise of their album, and I can do that. But I don't know where to even start with that.
I'm sure there's some kind of Reddit community present for like finding ghostwriters.
Yeah, I've never been into Reddit actually. I tried to make a Tread subreddit, and I guess I didn't have enough Reddit clout to make Tread or a thread.
It's very hit or miss with communities, and I really don't know what makes a community like tick. But yeah,
my girlfriend's big on Reddit. I don't know the last thing about it.
The only places I go on Reddit are basically subreddits that make fun of Reddit, like male fashion circle jerk.
Yeah.
I watch like fucking conspiracy videos on YouTube, like top 10 Reddit conspiracy. Like, I know the premise of it, and I just thought that the word tread thread sounded cool, so I was like, damn, I want to make it.
That sounds cool. I mostly like go on there if like I feel like it's a very niche question for like something that Google wouldn't really know about. Yeah. So it's like having a I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Having like a
cult following.
Yeah, it's like
a random thing.
They're super zoned in on this one thing, and you can like tap into this council of people. So I think it's helpful for that kind of stuff.
This actually reminds me. I found this. Well, me and my friend Kwaku, we stumbled across this channel that hosts like obscure rap mixtapes, and we found this tape, Genetically Superior. It sounded a lot like something that you would hear from like Death Grips, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody in it. There was like only a few comments, and so I put it over on the Death Grips sub, and it didn't get like a huge following, but it like had a decent number of people. Like the next day, I'm seeing MC Ride memes on the YouTube video, so I'm like, oh, okay, well.
Oh, that's cool.
Damn.
That's really cool.
Huh. I fucked up. I dropped this music video for a song I have called Evangelion, and I was like, it was actually the same day that I tried to make the subreddit, and I was like, fuck, okay, well, I don't understand Reddit, but I always hear people talking about blogs, and then I was like thinking about ASAP Yams and how he had like a real nigga Tumblr and all that. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try some blogs. I'm gonna post it on an anime blog. And then like 4 hours later of interneting, I somehow stumbled onto 4chan, and my dumbass decided to drop my music video link 4chan in the bruh. Oh my god. The like to dislike ratio is kind of a thing.
Yeah. Like communities like Reddit and Discord are like so up sensitive to like self promotion.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
4chan. I got trolled as shit, bro. My whole inbox on my YouTube. Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah, 4chan is pretty nasty. Like even my friend, you know, he doesn't like, you know, edgy parts of it, but he'll sometimes go on like the music or literature, I think was the one he went on. And he's like, dude, the argument this person makes is, well, you may have an opinion, but what does your jawline look like? He's like, okay, I'm out of here, man.
You can't win. You can't win on 4chan, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because I never was into it, but like the communities I'd be a part of, there were so many, I don't know, wannabe 4chan people, and they were always so snobbish to me or like to new people. Yeah, I mean, that whole like troll culture just, it's so weird because I went back to one of the forums I used to be on, and the people from like 10 years ago are still on there posting daily, still as edgy as they were 10 years ago. And I'm thinking, man, like, you need to move on with your life, man.
That's crazy. Do you know the YouTuber? His name's Wang with an exclamation mark.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
I know him a little bit.
Talks about like old. Yeah, he has like a big ass mustache and super long hair.
Yeah, Justin Wang. Yeah.
He like touches on like super old internet like tropes like 4chan and like rotten.com and just random shit.
Yeah.
Angel Fire.
That's cool.
His channel's pretty dope.
I don't know, with 4chan it's all pretty much negative. With Reddit it's like 50-50. You know, sometimes you get people who are supportive, and then other times, like the Vaporwave subreddit, that, you know, because I'm still, you know, into Vaporwave despite its drama. It's like they just frown on self-promotion, and I get, you know, okay, they want to keep out spam, but like I see other people getting away with spam who have clout, and yet if I just try and post my link, they're like, oh no, you can't promote that. You didn't have the right tags. You didn't have this and that. And it's like, do you want to encourage independent artists or not? I don't get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember I have this song with Bones, right? And it was an accident how it happened. I honestly didn't even think. Okay, so it's kind of a weird story. There's this guy on Team Sesh named Drip133. He's a producer for Bones, and I hit him up a long time ago, and we were working on like a small collab project, and he sent me a beat pack, and on one of the beats, like I'd say like about 40 seconds into it, out of nowhere, Bones just started rapping, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, why do I have a Bones verse on my song? Maybe he didn't mean to send me this, like, whatever. So then I hit him back and I was like, you sent me a Bones open verse. Like, did you know that? And he stopped replying to me. So I put the song out and I was like, this is post clout chasing. I was like, should I make this like the first song on the album so that everyone's just like, what the fuck, he has a song with Bones? I ended up just posting it on a bunch of blogs and shit. And for some reason, every single person just decided to start hating on the song. They're like, this is the worst Bones track I've ever heard.
Oh no.
This is his worst verse. I'm like, it isn't even his song, first off.
So what happened with the guy? He just
I've been there before.
Why did he ghost you?
Bruh, I don't know. I honestly don't know. He didn't even leave me on read or anything. He just stopped replying. I feel like there's this thing that happened earlier in the earlier stages of the underground rap scene, because like now it's all on Instagram. In 2014, 13, and 14, 15-ish, it was all Facebook. The rap underground was Facebook. Like, I had DJ Smokey, Chris Travis, fucking Xavier Wolf, Black Smurf. They were all on my friends list. Like, DM them when they dropped a new mixtape, and we'd like chop it up kind of thing. And it's like, that era, once they reached like a certain level of notoriety, I feel like all the people that used to hit them up, yo, this song's dope, and then they would actually chop it up with you. There's so many people trying to do that they just ghost everybody. I feel like that's kind of what happened.
Dude, I got left. I don't know. Do you know the designer Futura? Futura 2000. I
Yeah.
talked about obviously with Xalamander, but I just like out of random decided to hit him up, ask if he was interested on the podcast, and he left me on read. So
Damn.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I assume, maybe he's busy, whatever, he doesn't have time. I don't know. I just find it funny. Usually they don't even, like, a blue checkmark person, unless they hit you up, they never, like, read your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, on my album, like, I was supposed to have some, like, super crazy features on Hibernate Renmei 2. I was supposed to have Theophilus London. He ended up leaving me on read. Freddie Dredd, if you know who that is. Me and him are from the same city, actually. He didn't leave me on read per se, but he's just, every time I hit him up, he's like, "Oh man, sorry, I'm just super busy," kind of thing. And it's like, I don't blame them, but at the same time, it's like, if you can't do it, just say something. Like,
it's difficult. I'm at the point where, like, I'm trying to network at the same time. I got my job at the same time, like, I'm trying to keep in touch with my friends. Like, I don't want to be one of those people that leaves, like, half the people on read, but it is hard, like, maybe not bigger you get, but the more you network out, the more you spread out, like, to remain, close to your friends and all that stuff, and manage your personal life and your persona as an artist.
Shout out to Xalamander's dog, but I know exactly what you mean. Like, no, I'm just saying. No, I know exactly what you mean, because, like, I remember back when I first started, I'd be hitting up people like, "Yo, can I use this beat? This beat is so dope. Can I use this beat?" And now every day that I sign into my Instagram, I have these kids that are just like, "Yo, let me send you some beats." They will, and they always do, and they're always fire. But it's like, if I'm already working on an album, it's like a completely different vibe from what I'm going for. It ends up just sitting in my email forever, and I feel so bad because when I was just starting and coming up and stuff, like, and I'd ask someone like, "Yo, do you want to do a song with me?" Yeah, and then they never got back to me. I feel like I'm being a dick, kind of thing.
You mentioned before the podcast started, one of your influences was the video game Jet Set Radio, and there's this guy randomly I found on Facebook. He was just promoted to me. It's called Too Mellow, and he made like a whole album.
I know exactly who you're talking about. It's kind of funny because when I came up with the idea before he dropped that album about making it myself, I talked to him. He was one of the people that I was talking to about that with, and then he dropped that album. So that's
interesting.
Really funny that you just said that.
How did you find it?
How did I? Just over Facebook, just music mutual friends. That kind of stuff happens to me all the time. Even with Ghostman, like you were talking, you mentioned Ghostman earlier.
Yeah.
Back like in the Schema Posse days, like when Pete was in Schema Posse, they're all doing that shit. That was when the underground was still on Facebook, and I remember I was talking to Ghostman one day about doing a song on a Little Ugly Mane beat. This other guy named DJ Killa C. And for some unexplainable reason, Ghostman went out of his way to go and tell DJ Killa C and Lil Ugly Mane to not fuck with me because I wasn't in Schema Posse, and then the song never ended up coming out.
What?
Really?
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's whack.
Yeah, and now Ghostman is fucking one of the biggest underground rapper people, so I find that kind of agonizing. Like, I've seen so many people blow up. I used to be in, like, group chats with, like, Chris Travis and fucking DJ Smokey and Young Simi, all those guys. I've seen them go from like 100,000 views to like 21 million. It's insane.
Yeah, I know that has the potential to really make some people jaded. My friend is doing a series about Space Ghost Perp, and he was one of those guys that, aside from some of his antics, I think he felt like he was really dissed by a lot of like people up and coming who are now real famous, but like he's kind of been left behind.
Yeah. It was a whole wave like 2 years ago of fuck perp. Like it was just like, I
remember that.
Literally folks like X said fuck perp, Lil Yachty said fuck perp, I'll shoot perp on site. Smoke perp, like literally he got his whole entire hype. Like the original like couple songs he came out with were all diss tracks to Space Ghost Perp. Like his name literally means smoke perp. Like, it wasn't like an original name. Like, he was actually doing it to literally say fuck Space Ghost Perp. And Space Ghost Perp dissed him so much that he switched his name from being spelt like that to this. Like, it's just smoke perp. You can literally see it. It's actually kind of hilarious. But nah, man, you gotta pay respect to Space Ghost, because that guy genuinely, he created ASAP Rocky. ASAP Rocky created the entire mainstream rap game right now. Like, hypothetically, like, none of these dudes would know anything about nothing. Like, I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. Like, no one would know what a Rick Owens is. No one would know what a Rap Simmons is. Obviously, unless you were into the clothing world. But like, as a part of just like an average day-to-day human being that was like my age when I heard of What's Up, when he like shouted out Y3 and all that shit, like I was like 14, like I didn't know what the fuck that was. Obviously, I went and checked it out through him, and I would have never have even checked him out if it wasn't for Space Ghost Perp. I wouldn't have been rapping right now if it wasn't for Perp.
But I feel like his antics and some of his mental issues and stuff have led to, I think especially, you know, all the stuff that happened like compounded his problems. I feel sorry for him. I don't know the whole story, but like, you know, to see all that happen and then have, you know, personal issues and all that, it can really mess you up.
I feel that because he has a bunch of things. Like I have BPD. I have bipolar 1, so I know how he feels. He's bipolar too, but I'm pretty sure he's also schizo and a bunch of other things. And there was a YouTube video he posted, I think, like about a week ago. He goes live a lot on YouTube, and he just opened up and started talking to this one dude in particular in the live chat about his mental disorders and whatever. And he kind of like broke down how that was the reason that ASAP fell out, how that was the reason that Raider Clan fell out, and it wasn't like he tried to do it on purpose. It was kind of just like he didn't know how to control himself at that time.
Yeah. Wow.
I feel like that's the problem for a lot of creative people, is like the perfectionism, the, you know, emotional instability. Like, I hate to be one of those people that stereotypes, you know, all creative people as like being mentally unstable.
Oh no, we're all crazy.
Yeah, I know, man.
We're all crazy.
Second that.
Yeah, I know, man. But, you know, it's like, I feel like we have nothing else to do, so it's like, why not just start making art? Because that's the thing that's our passion.
Yeah.
For real.
For sure.
I mean, people are like, or like I've heard in the past, like, well, you know, you do this, but, you know, other people do it too. Like, you're not unique about this. And it's like, well, I don't care about being unique. I just care about expressing myself, how I feel, the trends that I like, and just, you know, that's what it is. Like, I don't care about, like, being the most unique, or, like, when I was a kid, I had that problem, like, especially with, like, fashion and stuff. Like, oh, I wanted to, you know, like, kids would always clown on me, and so I was, like, always trying to, like, get the best fashion or whatever. But now, you know, and of course, you know, I'm very selective at what I buy, but at the same time, I buy it for not just myself, but like my vision of who I am, and it feels like more true to myself.
True, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't even fucking know, man. Like, I'm so, I honestly, I don't even know how to put it to words, and I don't even really care too much anymore. Like, I used to be really like selective and shit, but oh no, man, I just dyed my eyebrows blonde. Like, I'm I'm just doing whatever now. I really don't care.
Dude, I just I have frosted tips, so
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I bleached my roots too, so I was just bored.
Like just your roots?
Yeah, my dreads. I've dyed my dreads like on record. This is the first time it's going on record. I've bleached my dreads 8 times, and I've dyed them 5. So they're pretty fucking dead. But I bleached my. I'm not gonna go the little Tracy route and fry them out completely, but I just bleached my roots. man, anybody with dreads knows how hard that must have been for that guy, man. Like I sympathized with him so hard when he was losing his dreads, bro. Same with Uzi. Like he had extensions for the longest time and nobody called him out on it.
Oh, really?
At all. Bruh, if you it's so bad. Like if you go into his IG when he had black dreads and then he went to the neon green, it gained like 6 inches in like a day. That's not natural.
Yeah.
I don't want to like lose my hairs, you know, and like I like having dark hair. So like the most I do for me is just like highlights, but like I never do like a full bleach.
Oh, bro,
Yeah,
man,
I've been doing mine like platinum for like almost a year now.
The only reason I bleached my roots is because I miss blonde. Like I had blonde before, and then I went green, and then when I was in Finland, I dyed them black again, and it, like immediately after I dyed them black, I was like, "Fuck, I hate this so much." It feels so fucking normal. Like this isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Another thing too, it's just like in Europe and shit. I feel like when I have like just regular black dreads, I just feel like people take me as like some like thug. When I pull up with green dreads, they're trying to take fucking pictures of me and shit. They think I'm a little pumped. Yeah,
I feel that.
So it's there's no in between. I'm either a little pumped or I'm about to rob you.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, the whole Europe aspect of everything though is it's kind of hard right now because I don't really know anybody doing the music out here, and like I haven't played a show at all. I don't know how to reach promoters. I don't know any club promoters. I don't know any artists. I've been looking for a manager.
I'm like a translator
Really need a
too.
manager.
Like, may you have your girlfriend, but
Well, no. In Scandinavia, for the most part, like it's just the second language is English. So in Copenhagen and Denmark, especially, like I don't have an issue with that. I've never been like lost and ask for directions or anything like that.
yeah,
So,
That's good.
because that's a nightmare. Because like when I was in Thailand, you know, most people there only speak very very little English. So like trying to find my way out of the airport and all that was hard, man. And then I still know
shit.
to
Even
this
in
day.
the airport.
Yeah.
Damn, that's heavy.
Yeah, like to
It's
this
tough.
day, I don't know how I navigated myself to the like taxis and all that stuff without getting ripped off.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Honestly, like I get lost in every airport I go to. So to go to an airport and not being able to speak English, that'd be terrible. Just to go on record, I'm saying it here.
Yeah.
Essex has the scariest fucking airport ever. If you ever go to London, just be aware of Essex. It is the scariest airport you will ever go to. Just
Like,
saying. Yeah.
Dangerous or?
No, just the security. They walk around in like groups of 3 with like automatic machine guns.
Oh
It's
my
just
God.
incredibly
Oh, jeez.
intimidating.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
When I was in China, like their airport is so huge, like, and just the design of it, I felt like I was in like a giant waiting lobby or something. It was really strange feeling. I guess a lot of it has to do with the fact that I've never really been in an airport before prior to that. But,
So that was your like first. Okay.
yeah. So it was in Shanghai because I wound up having to stay there because my flight got rerouted. A bunch of crazy stuff happened. I just like had no idea how I was going to get myself out of that. I remember the next day trying to figure out how I was going to get there, and these dudes just come up to me and are like, "Hey, I'm your taxi." And they just start taking my stuff. I'm like, whoa. No, you aren't. I don't know you guys. I don't know what you're doing. I may never see my spleen again if I go with you guys.
Yeah.
Yo, actually, to go back to that Essex airport thing, what happened? This actually happened on my way back from Canada. I've been in Europe for maybe about 4 months now, and I was in Europe prior to that too. I just went back to Canada to visit. On my way back here, I landed in Essex. I had a two-way ticket, so I left Pearson Airport in Toronto, and I landed in Essex. And to my knowledge, I was supposed to leave from the airport in Essex to land directly in Copenhagen, but I got to the airport in London, and I found my gate number. And I got up to the guy and I was like, "Hey, yeah, I just wanted to know if I could check in early." And he's like, "We have no flights leaving to Copenhagen from this airport at all today." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he's like, yeah, on your ticket, you're supposed to be leaving from, I forget the name of it, but a completely other airport. And
Oh, wow.
I was like, how do I get there? I'm not from London. Like, I have no idea. He's like, oh, go ask the taxi drivers, whatever. So I ran to a taxi dude. I'm like, hey, how do I get to so-and-so? And he's like, oh, it's 2.5 hours away
No.
in a taxi. It was $270. Yeah. And that was with Uber. I didn't even end up taking a taxi.
Wow.
I was just reading this story. This guy, I'll post the link to it. This guy, he took a Uber from France to an airport. He got in a major accident, could have been killed. The car was totaled. Came out that the Uber driver did not have a license. Yeah.
That's nuts. Don't you have to register your Uber license when you're setting up your fucking account?
Yeah, like you have to have a driver's license, I would have thought, but
yeah.
man, this is just like
I'm sure there's some way around that.
Oh yeah. But it's so funny cuz like so Uber, well it's not as funny, it's just ironic. Uber basically got like a high-powered attorney to knock this guy's case out, and then like the same month or whatever, they're promoting how safe Uber is. And I'm like, really, man?
That's crazy that Uber would double down and like protect that guy.
I don't think that they'll ever really be able to crack down on Uber, because even when I was in Canada, one of my friends, he does Uber, and I remember I was at like this party house and he passed out on the couch and he kept on getting calls, and then he let one of my friends go drive his car to do his Uber routes.
Oh man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I don't know, like, how would they be able to control that? You know what I mean? Like, you had like a legitimate system in your car where you have to type in like a PIN or have like a
I
thumb
could see
reading.
them doing like some kind of like facial recognition with the
Yeah,
app
have
or
to.
something. Yeah.
It's like even in Europe, you can download this app to your phone, and there's cars that are literally just parked all around the city. I don't know if it's like that in North America yet, but you can literally just have this app on your phone, and you can rent the car, unlock, and you literally just get in the car and drive it.
That's so crazy.
I feel like too, I don't know how it is in Copenhagen, but like when I was in Asia, like the public transit is so much better here than it is in the US. Like where I live, we have
Oh man.
Yeah, where I live, we have better like public transit than like most areas, but there's still like the city planning here and just everything is so confusing. It's just kind of frustrating.
Bro,
like
Canada.
Yeah.
Toronto is the worst city for public transit ever. I've literally lost jobs because of buses. They come like every 45 minutes. They're expensive as shit. And then if you get like a bus pass for like a month, it's ridiculous. In Copenhagen, however, the buses have Wi-Fi. The buses have TVs on them.
Wow.
They play music. It's literally crazy. Even the sign where you go to stand at the bus stop, there's a clock on it, and it shows how long until the next bus comes.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
It's heaven.
Huh.
You would never see something that efficient here, and probably, you know, based on what you're saying, not in Canada either if it's that bad.
Yeah, it's terrifying in Canada, especially in the wintertime. Like, you'll be standing at the bus stop for 45 minutes and then it won't come, and you're like, damn, okay, I'm just gonna go wait in the store until the bus comes. You turn around and then the bus comes.
Dude, it's like I don't know if you ever watched
So
SpongeBob
ridiculous.
as a kid, but there's that episode where SpongeBob is going to get like that like item from the vending machine, and every time he goes to reach for it, the bus comes, and then as he pulls away, the bus goes away.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Literally, yeah, that's pretty much Canada in a nutshell, man. Just like a watered down New York.
I see.
And people talk really
I
weird.
wouldn't mind that.
I find that interesting, the Canadian accent, because like I kind of hear it now, but like I never really noticed.
No, there's a huge difference between a Canadian accent and a Toronto accent.
Oh, really?
They sound like you know how people talk in England, like, yo, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
blah blah, like we'll go on kind of thing like that. They do it but it's so cringy, man. Like I have so many friends. I can't even talk to them. Like I'll be smiling like I'm happy to see them, but I'm really just like laughing at their IQ level. Like it burns my brain. I actually can't even explain it. You would actually have to listen to like Toronto rap, like an actual underground Toronto rapper, to fully understand how ridiculous it sounds. I'm not even trying to talk down on my own city, damn.
Every city has its quirks, you know, like
for sure.
It's kind of like how New York has the yo son dead ass beef show this and the third. It's like even worse. Like we don't really have that many people to like list off. Like we have Drake, we have Justin Bieber, we have Avril Lavigne, Sum 41, fucking Protest the Hero. See, like I'm just going off the top of my head. Like The Weeknd. We don't have anybody that's like, you know, like Drake may be the biggest artist in the world, but but it's just Drake though.
Yeah, exactly. And like I feel like he's more Americanized. I don't know, maybe that's just my
exactly.
Yeah.
He lives out in LA and shit. He's like, yo, it's like a Drake day in Toronto and all this. He has like his own hotel, his own restaurants, his own bowling alley. It's too much, man. Like it's crazy. Just like the older culture, like obviously all the younger kids really fuck with Drake and shit, but like the older generation of people, like my age from Canada, we don't listen to Drake. Nobody really takes Drake seriously at all.
Yeah. I can't tell you the last time I listened to Drake.
I think the only song by Drake that I ever actually put on and I was like, "Yep, this is it, Chief," was "Worst Behavior." That song.
Oh yeah, that did go off.
That song hit different, man.
For sure.
Yeah, I know. In Canada, there's this label, Network. They did like a lot of like alternative and electronica stuff in like the late '90s. They had some really interesting stuff. A coworker gave me like a compilation of their stuff, and it's been really cool to look through. And like they had artists like BT. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He was signed to them. BT is like hugely influential to pretty much all electronic music. Somebody should definitely check out. He had this song called Smart Bomb, and that goes off, man. You gotta hear it.
All right, I'll check it out. Sure. I actually what's it called again? Interstellar 5555 by Daft Punk. They made like an anime movie to their album. It came out in 2003. I'm just reading it right now. Yeah, they came out with an album, it's like a giant music video movie where there's no actual talking. It's just all spoken through their songs. It's fucking awesome, man. Like I that's one of my dreams in music is to come up with something remotely close to that. I just send the link. It's like an hour long, and it has every song on their album. And there's a different scene for the movie. Yeah, it's a definite good watch. It's super sick.
Guys, I unfortunately have to go to the post office before it closes, so I probably gotta wrap it up.
Yeah, that's no problem. I think we've talked like almost 3 hours now, so I think we had a good discussion.
For sure. Man. Hope I made up for the 4 times.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Lord VZA, is there anything you'd like to shout out? Any person, designer, musician before we wrap things up here?
Just let me get my list. Okay. So, shout out to Abnormal Area, shout out to Raid, Jake B, Cyber Spider, Ace Prano, The Lucci Man, Dustbin, Forlorn, Hiro Matsui, Lord Unknown, Joey Gallows, Nick Can't Sleep, Whitener, Gloom, Del Soda, Yes It's Crim, Dr. Dread, Metadon Trench, Malchik Gay, free Malchik Gay by the way, Antoinette, Egyptian, Ninja Kenji, Kane, and my whole Piss Drunk Records can, and my girlfriend, and my Chihuahua Leo.
Shout out Leo.
And you and Xalamander. Shout out Leo.
Word.
All right. Well, it's been fun, guys. look forward to doing something in the future, and see y'all next week.
100%. Thank you for having me on.
Sure, brother.
It's been fun.
I'll be tuning in from now on.
All right, cool.
Word.
See ya.